What is up, everybody? I hope you guys are all having a great day. Tons of information to get into today. Getting back on the horse, so to speak, this month has been just absolute misery for me. Number one, taxes, obviously. Finally did file an extension and prepaid what I think that I owed. Hopefully I was somewhere in the ballpark. Certainly advocate everybody do their due diligence with their taxes, and if you're not sure, you can always file an extension. Even if you overpay, I mean, I know that it sucks giving the government an interest-free loan and then getting a refund, but at least you've overpaid because there are fees and penalties if you do not pay, even though you filed an extension. And obviously that due date is past now. In the United States, it was April 18th. I do want to hop right into it. Apologies for not being around for this past month. That and Patreon really took a lot of time this month as well. So, all right, but I wanted to hop into this. I saw this article come across today. This is very concerning to me. Russian bankers reportedly want to outlaw non-custodial cryptocurrency wallets. So essentially, the Association of Banks of Russia has previously collaborated with Binance, which we have seen. But what they're trying to do, a major Russian banking association, they're trying to criminalize keeping your own cryptocurrency keys. I'm a realist. I know that a lot of people in this space probably do custody some of their digital assets on exchanges. I'm certainly, I would advocate custodying as many as you possibly can with your own keys, holding your own digital assets. If you don't hold your own private keys, you do not custody your crypto. If something happens to an exchange, you are going to lose your funds potentially. And if an exchange chooses to change their rules based on regulatory clarity, which is a little bit more concerning even to me at this point in time, you may not have access to removing your funds, trading your funds, doing whatever you want to with your funds, because when they are on an exchange, they are technically not being custodied by you. They are not really your funds, right? So yeah, just be cognizant of all of this. I mean, we're seeing this come out of Russia, but we are seeing a lot of regulation initiatives in the United States, especially recently dealing with KYC. I think Gate.io was one, no longer supporting the United States, and they're going to have a U.S. version. Even Coinbase, I believe, came out with something stating that by December, if you do not basically dox yourself within the platform, and by dox I mean provide your identity, provide your identification, you're not going to necessarily have access to do the things that you want to do with your funds. So make sure that you guys are being very aware of all of these things. Secondly, I saw this today. This is the Secret Service seizing more than $102 million in cryptocurrency assets. Now, this kind of alludes to the tax aspect as well. If you think that government entities cannot track what you are doing in crypto, I think that you're wrong. I mean, taxes are one thing, illicit activity is another thing, obviously, but just understand, unless you're dealing with some sort of a privacy coin, which I don't advocate trying to skirt around, doing things in an illegal way with a privacy coin. I don't advocate for doing that, but this is kind of the rhetoric that you're getting. This isn't even rhetoric, this is fact. When you follow a digital currency wallet, it's not any different than an email address. They have correlating identifiers. Once a person and another person make a transaction and that gets, that goes onto the ledger, these government entities are going to have the ability to follow that wallet address, if you will, and trace it through the blockchain. So there's going to be, and especially when we see digital ID and these things tie in, it's only a matter of time before really, we've all got to be very, very aware of, kind of Big Brother and what's being watched in this space. Which is why I'm just a big fan of, I want to be here personally for decades upon decades. I want to be in this space for as long as I can be alive for. So I'm going to try to go by whatever we're supposed to be doing. There's some people that like to skate around it. I will never advise people to do that. Last week we did see that Michael Barr essentially being nominated by Joe Biden for the vice chair of supervision for the Federal Reserve. I saw somebody, that Watcher Guru on Twitter was like, former XRP advisor. Well, yeah, dude, he was a Ripple advisor. XRP doesn't have advisors. All right, but yeah, we do know that Michael Barr was formerly an advisor at Ripple Labs. I actually pulled this up on Crunchbase as well, and it looked like he may still be in some sort of an advisory position at Ripple. Somebody can clarify that down in the comments if you want to. But, I mean, This isn't the first time we've seen things like that. I think I saw Wrath of Kahneman putting out a tweet saying this is not the first time that we've seen some of these hop arounds, people that have been advisors at Ripple moving into high government, kind of positions. It's kind of been the way that these things have moved forward, right? And I would especially say, look to a lot of these companies, you see a lot of different people moving from these blockchain initiatives, and then you kind of see announcements after the fact about some sort of tie-ins or whatever. Not saying that Ripple is going to be utilized by the Federal Reserve, or that XRP is going to be utilized by the Federal Reserve. It's just very, very interesting. More of a high-level stuff here, but blockchain.com readying for an initial public offering. So at a $14 billion valuation, this is not going to be the last. Obviously, we know with Coinbase, et cetera, the natural progression of these things as companies, as platforms, they are going to start going public. So yeah, just paying attention to that. I did want to say today, so I was at the gym working out, and I was wearing an XRP hat, which I literally never do. And I had two separate people. The first dude was sitting there on a machine, and he's like, "I like the hat, man." He's like, "Not a lot of people know about that. You looking to retire soon?" And I was like, well, obviously, I think we're all looking to retire soon, but it just eludes me to believe of how early we actually are in this space. Whenever you see, I'm wearing an XRP hat, which I rarely do, but when I wear it out, you get one or two people that notice it out of probably hundreds upon hundreds of people that you run into on a daily basis, or that see you on a daily basis. So we are still very, very early, in my opinion, which is why I also believe, even looking at the XRPL and the markets within the XRPL, that we are very, very early. You can make the same relationship argument within any network of potential utility value in the future, that we are very early. Look at Hedera Hashgraph. Look at tons of ones we're not even talking about. Look at things like Casper, etc. A lot of these things are very, very nascent, very new. Sologenic is the number one asset on the XRPL, $222 million market cap. I put out a tweet today saying that I just bought more on XRP, which I did. Obviously not financial advice, but if you look at kind of what OnXRP is doing from a platform standpoint, and I'm not an affiliate of them, I'm not getting paid to say this. I actually bought before the dump. It's obviously crashed since it first listed, and then I just chose to buy more again today because I believe there's going to be multiple players in this space. I think with XLS20 coming out with the NFT standard, you're going to potentially see a lot of traction within a platform like OnXRP. From a marketplace standpoint, I think from a DEX standpoint, I think as everything grows out, being assimilated into the actual new standard, the XLS 20D standard, will be huge. And I don't believe that Sologenic, from my understanding, I think they're going to have interfacing touch points within XLS 20, but I believe they're staying with XLS 14, which is the kind of the old standard. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong again, but really just looking at it from a number, it's a numbers game to me. And we'll get into this a little bit later. I'm still very wary about kind of what the market's doing right now, but this is a cool site, by the way, xpmarket.io. But looking just from a sheer number standpoint, I believe that on XRP right now has a $2 million market cap. I think it has 32 million circulating supply, so fully diluted, 250 million, so fully diluted, right around a $17 million market cap. Yeah. And yeah, to me, it's a little bit of a no-brainer. I'm willing to ride it out for the medium or long term with something like on XRP. That's just my choice. I'm not advocating that you guys, go out and buy anything. It's just more of a numbers game for me, and it's a people game. I tend to gravitate towards projects where I've had discussions with people. I understand what the team is trying to do. I understand kind of the larger vision, without alluding to anything that they're going to potentially be doing. I think that OnXRP has the potential to be massive in this space, especially in the XRP ecosystem, and we've seen, obviously, with Wrapped XRP through Wrapped Finance, that they have a vision of bringing XRP utility into other markets, such as Ethereum, et cetera, as well, which I think will be huge for NFTs moving forward as well. We will see how it goes, though. But yeah, $220 million for Sologenic and a $2 million market cap for OnXRP. So, okay, yeah, there's a tweet, and I thought it was funny because I put, well, taxes are finally paid, so I'm now able to start slowly making some moves in this market, which is 100% true. Kevin Cage, actually, I have to give this dude a shout out. He shared this. This is an older interview with Christian Hasker from Hedera Hashgraph that I did back in early 2021, I believe. And Christian's a great guy, obviously chief marketing officer at Hedera. This interview is fantastic, and I'm going to start getting back into the interviews as well. Another thing I talked about with the Patreon that I did, and again, I'm not advocating that you guys sign up for my Patreon. If you want to, great. It does support me. If not, great. That's fine. I'm going to do YouTube videos and stuff like that anyways. But really kind of trying to level the playing field within that. I had tiers. This is actually kind of why I've been absent too this month. I had a ton of tiers from when I started the Patreon, from like $1, $5, $10, and then I had ones up to $43. So I made just one tier that I'm not going to change at $30. I actually had to go in because there were people that were paying $43 a month and $35 a month. And Patreon, the platform is, if you're looking to start doing content and if you ever want to adjust or pivot what your content is doing or what tiers you have or whatever, it's a horrible interface to deal with. I had to go in and manually refunded everybody that didn't move into that tier this month. It was like a few $1,000s. So all the $43, all the $35, I've still got to get to the $20 and the $15 or whatever dollars. But it's one tier now. I think that I'm going to try to do some more interviews here moving forward. Rashid from Alliance Block, I've got nailed down for May 7th. Hopefully, I know Rashid's very, very busy. He's obviously the CEO at Alliance Block. But what I will do is, moving forward, just be, I'm fully vested into this platform and fully vested in the community that I've garnered. I would love to give patrons, kind of a stab at, the first stab at questions for AMAs, things like that, and just, I'm always there anyways. Maybe I'll just do daily AMAs moving forward. It kind of makes sense. But moving forward here, Terrapay. Now, I've never seen an official relationship with Terrapay and Ripple. There are so many different articles talking about Terrapay being RippleNet. But this is Amsterdam-based fintech startup Terrapay securing a money services business license in the United States. This is actually in Florida. They are reporting that this license will help its cross-border payments infrastructure to mobilize international remittances from the region in real time at low cost and help offer diverse value-added financial payment services to Terrapay's partners and its users globally. And a couple things before we end this. SEC Chair Gary Gensler faces lawmaker scrutiny as the Ripple case drags on. This is very much so dealing in the SEC potentially overreaching its boundaries. House of Representatives Committee on Financial Services raising concerns over potential SEC rule changes. Won't get into the weeds with this, but this letter that was sent from the House to Gary Gensler, addressed to Gary Gensler, basically stating an expansive view, the SEC intending to take an expansive view in defining a communication protocol system. Such an outcome would create market uncertainty and likely stifle innovation. And the first rule change within this letter here, I'll post this link for you guys. And James Filan, by the way, I'll give a shout out to him as well. This dude just does consistently great work. Him, John, and Jeremy are monsters in this space. But yeah, the second rule change, essentially the SEC is proposing is extremely alarming to the digital asset space as well. Last but not least, Bitcoin and the US dollar. I've talked about this multiple times. This is kind of why I'm wary. I do not want to see a cross. I will keep pounding this into the ground when I do videos. Historically, if we see a 21 EMA cross on the weekly below the 50 EMA, with Bitcoin, it is bad juju. And essentially, you're talking, historically 90 days until a bottom or somewhere close to a bottom and about a 50% correction. I've said it multiple times. I'm going to bury it into the ground. The only outlier, obviously, was March of 2020, where there was all markets capitulated across the board, but there was a much, much faster recovery time. You can kind of see this right here. I mean, these are weeks. So this is that cross. And now, by the way, the 21 EMA and the 50 EMA, these crosses are sometimes lagging indicators as well. So, pay attention to that. But this is 1 week. We had this huge capitulation moment in March of 2020, and then it took 6 weeks, arguably 7 weeks to get above again, and then we saw that reciprocating cross back to the upside, and that kind of led us into where the bull run of last year, essentially. So pay attention, though. I mean, we could look at the last one here, much longer than 6 weeks, and then you can go all the way back to 2014, and it was much longer than 6 weeks. I mean, I could probably pull up something on the monthly there, but even zooming out a little bit though, still holding strong though above the 21 EMA on the monthly chart, but we will see where we go. I do not want to see a cross on the weekly because I've seen what happens historically. Not to say that history is going to repeat itself, but as many of us know in this space, sometimes it does rhyme, and I would rather it not rhyme in a shitty way where prices completely capitulate. But you have to look at the other side of the sword as well. If we have some sort of a capitulation moment, it's going to be healthy in my opinion. It's going to be something that needs to happen across the markets, and it will present one hell of an opportunity, not financial advice, to a ton of different people looking at potential entry points into utility-driven assets in this space. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I plan on doing these daily. I'm actually trying to get myself into more of a routine schedule now. Taxes are over. I've got no more excuses, so we will see how that pans out. Glad to be here, and I will share with you guys this SEC chair. Gary Gensler faces lawmaker scrutiny as Ripple case drags on from FX Empire, and the James Filan tweet whenever I post this. So I will talk to you guys. Hope you guys are having a good day, and hope everybody had a great long holiday weekend if you celebrated. All right, bye-bye.